What is socially accepted when you are beautiful, but not accepted when you are ugly? Being the strong silent type only works if you are handsome. People don't want to explore if there is any depth to you if you're not aesthetically pleasing. I'm sure more good looking people get away with personalities. Wearing more revealing clothes. Taking your shirt off. Being weird. People will tolerate a great deal of weirdness, strangeness, and psycho behavior from an attractive person, whereas these traits would be unforgivable in an ugly person. There was a social experiment conducted where a catfish profile of a beautiful blonde was created. When guys talked to her, the catfishes responded with the most weird, bizarre, off-the-wall, creepy answers, but guys still kept pursuing. People will tolerate a lot of weirdness if it comes alongside hotness. Making a lot of eye contact or smiling at a stranger. Wearing really short skirts. It's summer and plenty of people wear them. But when I wear them, I can't allow you to enter our restaurant dressed like this, sir. Going on about how inner beauty is more important than outer beauty. If you're attractive and say this, you're humble and empowering. But if you're ugly and say it, you're just seen as whining. Weirdly, being polite to the opposite sex. I'm generally a very polite and friendly person. When I was fat, men would constantly go out of their way to make sure I knew they had no interest, even though I hadn't given any hint at being interested and was already in a relationship. Now that I've lost weight, everyone's a lot nicer. This super hot girl farted once in my high school class. People thought it was hilarious and some of the football players hugged her and thought it was awesome. Later that year in English class, an overweight girl let a ripper go and was mocked and ridiculed and was told she was disgusting. Being socially forward, interrupting people while talking, hitting on people, giving unsolicited advice, etc. Being attractive gives you an automatic +4 to charisma. Saying you're ugly. If you're actually ugly, you just end up making everyone uncomfortable. If you're beautiful, people tend to fall all over themselves trying to reassure you that you're beautiful. To give a somewhat serious answer, boasting of your prowess. People are psychologically more inclined to believe someone good looking is skillful at whatever they're claiming to good at, despite no evidence. In fact, there's something called the halo effect that says along with beauty come all sorts of other positive characteristics. We have a tendency to think beautiful people are funnier, more friendly, more intelligent, more exciting, in possession of better social skills, are sexually warmer, are more interesting, poised and even more independent. Being quiet, introverted. If you're attractive, then you're cute or sweet or reserved. If you're ugly, then you're awkward or creepy, or have no life. Being a criminal sometimes. I remember when that beautiful convict guy was floating around the internet for a while. Bothering people who are reading. After years of sitting in coffee shops reading, I realized I was curt with anyone who tried to engage me in conversation, unless they were an attractive girl. Dressing down for an occasion. For example, hot guy can wear jeans to a semi-formal event and pull it off. Looks fine, no worries. Ugly guy wears jeans to a semi-formal event and he looks lazy and underdressed. Literally just existing and talking to people. There's a guy at work named Scene. Scene is unfortunate looking. He's a redhead. He's balding, yet his sides and back are pretty long. He doesn't cut his nose hairs. He's constantly red/pink, pot-bellied, and yeah, he kind of lingers around your desk and talks a bit too much. Problem is, we all kind of do that, you know, overstaying your cubicle visit, or whatever. Everyone at work thinks he's creepy. They all think he'll shoot up the place or maybe will eventually be banned from entering a school zone. TBH, Scene as a sweet, nice dude. He's your nerdy, 40-year-old virgin type of dude. He's got a lot of friends, from what I can tell on Facebook, and practically zero work friends. He plays on different softball and bowling teams, goes out to bars with his friends, and from what I can tell, seems perfectly normal. I talk to him every so often, and he's a really nice guy. I visited his desk, and he said I was the first person to visit him. He started here maybe 6 months ago. It's very unfortunate for him that people think of him this way. I know for a fact that if he was skinnier, had hair, and wasn't ugly, that people wouldn't think he's creepy at all. Conversation/small talk, I guess. This just happened recently to a friend. Matched a girl on Tinder who looked very attractive from her photos. They had hour-long phone conversations and day-long texting conversations. Went to go meet her for the first time, and he felt catfished. Apparently she was much larger than the pictures led on. I told him you gotta expect that a bit, but he says it was a crazy amount, like he felt tricked. Anyway, after knowing she was not very attractive, he said she was awful at conversations, very boring, asking the same repetitive questions, to not let a conversation die. Looking back on his old texts, she was always awful at conversation, him too TBF, but he was never bored when he thought it was a really hot girl asking about his day at work or his college program etc. My sister and I call ourselves Princess Diary Pretty because we have frizzy curly hair, but when straightened, we clean up nice. We tried an experiment for 2 weeks. Week 1 wear sweats, no hair straightening, no makeup. Week 2. Wear cute outfits, straighten hair, do makeup, wear perfume. I wish we had filmed, because the difference in the way we were treated was insane, by men and women. Week 1, people would let doors slam in my face, treated me meanly, and didn't notice me. Week 2, everyone smiled at me, held doors, called me honey, got invited out with co-workers. I even had my coffee, donut paid for. Anyone who says that looks don't matter is living in a fantasy world. Deliberately opening the sleeping pod of a hot girl during a long ass trip to colonize a new planet after your own hibernation was interrupted when your pod malfunctioned. Winking seductively, I would say. I do agree with others though, just about everything is socially unacceptable if you're ugly. Posted this before but apparently cheating. Know a girl that's very attractive. She was cheating on her boyfriend. Her one friend wholly supported it. Said sometimes someone better comes along. My friend seemed to think it was no big deal either. One said at the end of the day the most anyone can say about cheating is that it's wrong. My wife seemed to want to give the girl the benefit of the doubt. Said we can't consider her the bad guy here. We don't know her whole story. Maybe her current boyfriend is abusive. Perhaps not entirely what the question asked, but I need to get this off my chest. About 10 years ago, I was asked to come in for an interview for selling Bose speakers at one of their B2B outlets. It was an entirely professional deal, and the guy on the phone could not stress enough how important knowledge about sound systems was. So I go in and only one other guy shows up. We assume they need more people, so we both fancy our chances. Only thing is this guy has no idea how speakers work, no idea what or who Bose is, and displayed a generally carefree attitude. At least he was wearing a shirt and not a polo with his jeans and sneakers. I get called first, and my interview went on for over 30 minutes, getting grilled about all things imaginable, and then some more. I was pretty confident about the material, cause I knew that stuff, and I thought it went really well. So I come out, and this guy's ass-eyeing bricks, because he did not realize this was a serious job interview. We had built up some rapport while waiting, so when he asked me if I could wait for him for some moral support, we were headed back to the same area too. I said okay. His interview lasted 5 minutes. He walked out with an offer letter. All they asked him was his name and his background. I was politely asked to reapply after 12 months. This guy was equally confused. He was not a scumbag. In fact, he was a really nice guy. But even when you are selling high-end conference room sound systems to people who have no time to even listen to your pitch, Bose wanted good looks over skills. Did I mention this guy looked like a cross between Christopher Reeve and Elvis Presley? Looking up someone's personal information so you can find them again. When you're ugly, you're stalking them. When you're hot, you're being romantic. That is in Hitch. Will Smith tracks down where Eve Men's worked and then sent a delivery guy there with to give her a wetsuit and her exact measurements. He was being romantic. You would not be considered romantic. Not a popular opinion, but from watching drama within my friend group, cheating. Average guy cheats, girl dumps him, and never thinks about his sorry ass again. Hot guy cheats, girl says it's over, but is dating him again within a month or two. Probably not many people would admit it. They'll all say cheating is unacceptable regardless of looks, but as far as I've seen, their actions tell another story. Narcissism, shallowness. There's a ton of vitriol directed at unattractive women who spend a lot of time on their appearance. Putting makeup on a pig. Unless you're naturally attractive, there's this idea that you shouldn't even bother trying to look nice, because who do you think you're fooling? You'll always be ugly, so just accept in your ugliness. You see it a lot directed at heavy women on this site. Because other people don't find you attractive, people feel like you don't deserve to feel or find yourself attractive. Meanwhile, hot girls can spend an inordinate amount of time on their appearance and documenting their appearance with very little pushback. People like looking at them, so it's okay they like looking at themselves so much too. Just being nice in general, lol. When I was in high school there was this guy named James and everyone always blasted him for his appearance, how annoying, creepy he was, etc. I tried to be nice to him, but I'd be lying if I said I enjoyed his presence. One day in class I was talking about how I felt insecure that day, and he said, "Don't feel that way. You're beautiful." And I said thank you, but everyone else around us laughed. A more attractive guy in the same class called a friend of mine beautiful and everyone says, "Oh, so sweet. You guys should date." I don't know what happened to James after high school, but I hope he's doing well. Nobody deserves that kind of treatment.